Dylan Beams is the recipient of the 10th Grade Choral Music Award. Dylan loves to sing and works to accomplish big things in the choral music world. That is why he was selected to the TPSMEA All-Region Choir and the TPSMEA All-State Choir this year. He has also received Division I superior ratings at both the region and state levels of solo competition. Congratulations, Dylan. Olivia has perfect pitch and a beautiful voice. She always gives special attention to details in her music and performs to the highest of her ability each day in chamber choir, as well as the show choir. Olivia also has received Division I superior ratings at Solo and Ensemble Festival for her solo Caro Mio Ben. Congratulations, Olivia, on being the 10th grade Outstanding Choral Music. Connor Gutersloth loves acting and music. He works for perfection in both of these areas. He studies privately, and the extra study has helped his success this year as being selected to the TPSMEA All-Region Choir and receiving superior ratings for his solo at both the region and state levels. Connor served as the king in the Christmas Madrigal Festival, welcoming all guests and serving as the host for the evening. It is with pleasure that I present the Outstanding 11th Grade Choral Music Award to Connor Gutersloth. Lauren Edwards sings in the chamber choir, show choir, and also serves on the worship team as a guitarist and a singer. She studies voice privately and was selected to the TPSMEA All-Region Choir this year. She's received superior and excellent ratings for participation in solo and ensemble competitions throughout the past 6 years. It is with honor that I present the 11th Grade Choral Music Award to Lauren Edwards. The National School Choral Award is the highest honor for a high school choral music student. It recognizes the dedication and musical achievement of the top senior choral music students. Amanda Jones has been singing since she was a young girl. I can remember the first time she sang at the LCA talent show in elementary school. She's continued to sing and study voice through private lessons. She's been selected to the TPSMEA Region Choir, All-State Choir, and received numerous First Division ratings of superior from judges for her solos at region and state competitions. It is my honor to present the National Choral Award to Amanda Jones. The second National School Choral Award to a senior is for Aneasha Lobo. Aneasha has been selected to the TPSMEA All-Region Choir and All-State Choir for the past 3 years. She has received First Division superior ratings for her solos at competition as well. Not only is Aneasha a gifted singer, but a very talented pianist. She has also shined as a leader and served as the student choral director this past year. It is my special honor to present the National Choral Award to Aneasha Lobo. Best Male Drama Award for the Christmas Madrigal production of The Second Shepherd goes to Will Clemens for his clever humor and fun character as the jester. And finally, the Best Female Drama Award for the Christmas Madrigal, The Second Shepherd, goes to Marilyn Newberry for her role as the elegant and beautiful queen. Thank you.
I've had the privilege of teaching yearbook this year, and I would like to call Nicole Boardman. Is she here? Nicole Boardman? Is she here? No? Okay. Nicole has taken the opportunity to be a leader in the yearbook this year. She has takes command and control, and she delegates her responsibilities, and she truly has been a bright, shining star in our yearbook this year. I appreciate her. Thank you.
Connor Gooderslaw, would you come forward, please? Students are given the opportunity to be creative and explore their talents and potential as an actor in drama class. I was blessed this year with an extremely talented and disciplined class. One of the students who particularly stood out did so because he always went above and beyond, no matter what I asked him to accomplish. I challenged him this year with some difficult college-level material, and he excelled at the highest level in acting competition. During our spring play production, he was a leader with his work ethic and constant attention to detail. Most importantly, he came to class each day ready to tackle the task at hand with total focus and effort. One can accomplish many things when God-given talent is paired with hard work and determination. And for these reasons, I look forward to seeing what the future holds for this year's Drama Student of the Year, Connor Gooderslaw. Would Jake Dibley come forward, please? Jake played the role of Frank Gilbreth exceptionally well in our spring production of Cheaper by the Dozen. He was believable and showed great flexibility as an actor when his character was called upon to narrate and to portray a lead role in the play. Jake is a versatile actor who is always fun to watch. Jake Dibley, outstanding actor for Cheaper by the Dozen. Kiani Margolis, please come forward. The outstanding female actor for Cheaper by the Dozen is Kiani Margolis. Kiani lights up the stage in whatever role she takes on. Her portrayal of Ernestine Gilbreth was no exception. She too had to be able to narrate the story and convincingly play a lead role. I'm excited to see what Kiani will do as she continues her high school acting career. Kiani Margolis. Now I would like to have the district TAPS competitors and winners come up, and if you would come up in a group and stand on the risers when I call your name. And since this is a larger group, if you all would hold your applause until I have called everyone up. First is Connor Gooderslaw and Elena Eitraheim, third place in duet acting at districts. Will Clemens and Maggie McCullough, first place in duet acting at district competition. Amanda Brown, sixth place in solo acting. Connor Gooderslaw, second place in solo acting. Rachel Jobin, first place, straight ones in original oratory at districts. Sammy Saucedo, fifth place in persuasive speaking. George Ganley, second place in literary criticism. Amanda Brown, first place in literary criticism. Dylan Muller, fourth place in TAPS math. Chinwe Apio-Riley, sixth place in science. And Brock Crawford, first place in science. Let's give these students a hand. While they're still up here, there are some that I would also like to recognize for their accomplishments at state competition. Connor Guterslaw went on to place 4th place in the state in solo acting. Will Clemens and Maggie McCullough placed 5th place in the state in duet acting. Dylan Muller placed 5th place in the state in TAPS math. And Amanda Brown placed 6th place in literary criticism at state. Thank you, students. Students, you may go ahead and proceed to the back. You see Mrs. Perdue back there, and she will give you your award for TAPS.
I would like to call the following students up for TAPS. If you'll come up and do the same, it would be awesome. Garrett Goolsby, if you'll come up and stand right over here on this side. Mary Margaret Lewis. Gabby Lingle. Amanda Savoy. Austin Duncan. Margaret Guy. Chinwe O'Reilly, Austin Duncan, Lauren Toot, Chris Spears, Maddie Dyer, Corey Dreger, Josh Go, and Mikey V. These students participated at district and state competitions for TAPS, and I will read off their awards. Garrett Goolsby, 2nd place communication design. Garrett Goolsby, 2nd place black and white photography. Garrett Goolsby, honorable mention at color photography. Mary Margaret Lewis, 6th place communication design. Gabby Lingle at 4th place applied design. Amanda Savoy, 6th place, Applied Design. Austin Duncan, 2nd place, Relief, 2D Mixed Media. Margaret Guy, 1st place, Printmaking. Chinwe Riley, 2nd place, Printmaking. Austin Duncan, 5th place, Printmaking. Lauren Toot, 6th place, Printmaking. Chris Beers, 2nd place, Sculpture. Maddie Dyer, Honorable Mention, Sculpture. And Corey Dreger, 6th place, Senior Portfolio. And Josh Go, 3rd place, on-site drawing, and Mikey V, honorable mention, interior design. Very good. And some of these students also participated at a CSI competition, and Chris Spears, 3D sculpture, gold medal. Mark Eisman, pottery, bronze medal. Chinwe Riley, printmaking superior. Margaret Guy, printmaking excellent. Gary Goolsby, digital photography. Austin Duncan, mixed media. Mikey V, miscellaneous excellent. Natalie Hodge, mixed media good. Tanner Lee, printmaking good. Hayes Collins, graphic design good. Sterling DeWitt, photography good. And Rachel Jobin, painting good. They all did a wonderful job. Thank you very much for their hard work and diligence and participation. Thank you.
Okay, at this time I'd like to go ahead and announce the math award winners at the TAPS competition. Again, I'd like you to go ahead to the left side risers as I call your name, please. I'll start with geometry, Robert Cantwell and Candace Collier. in third place. Abby Brenneman and Jay Edwards, second place in geometry. And Dante Cross took first place in TAPS geometry. I'd next like to have the Algebra 2 students join them. In third place, Addison Gilbert and Caitlin Balcom. In second place, Josh Go. And in third place, Dylan Muller. Congratulations. I'd like to now announce the pre-calculus TAPS winners. Allie Ivy in third place. George Ganley took second place. And Maggie McCullough took first place in TAPS Math. In calculus, TAPS Math Awards go to Brock Crawford and Grace McCullough in third place. Amanda Brown and Lauren Whitney tied second place. And first place, Seth Lyle. I would also like to say that Algebra 2, and led by Miss Allen, and the calculus class took first place in the Southwest region. They are now competing nationally. Can you give them a big hand, please? Okay, and you can pick up your individual awards in the back. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Algren, the Latin teacher, could not be here tonight, so I'm going to call up the winners of the National Latin Exam Awards, and if they could come up and stand to my right as well. Josh Go, Dylan Beams, Matthew White, Matthew Marino, Olivia Jones, and Brianne Lowe. All of our Latin students take the National Latin Exam, and these students were awarded for their scores on their test. Magna cum laude was Josh Go and Dylan Beams, and cum laude was Matthew White, Matthew Marino, Olivia Jones, and Brianne Lowe. And you guys can go to the back and grab those awards as well.
The next recognition I want to describe is something we started a few years ago, and we've added to it because of the success, but we call this our HCT Scholars Award. This award will be recognition for legacy students who meet all 4 college readiness benchmarks on the ACT in English, math, reading, and science. Our average ACT out of the graduating class of 2014 is a 26.3. The state and national average is a 20.9. In Frisco, the average is a 23.5. In our class, a 26.3. What you need to know about that is every student in our senior class took the ACT. For Frisco, the state and nation, you only have college-bound students taking it. So you have a more selective pool that take it initially. For the ACT scholars, the benchmarks are developed by the ACT Corporation based on the rigors of college academics. The state and national average is 26% of all those that take the ACT meet all 4 college readiness benchmarks. For legacy, the class of 2014, 80% met all 4. When I call your name, please come to the stage on the left in recognition of meeting all 4 college readiness benchmarks. CJ Allison, Maddie Bixler, Amanda Brown, Brock Crawford, Lauren Crouch, Morgan Cruz, Katie Cutts, Corey Drager, Hayden Dyer, Michelle Island, Jacob Eisenman, Elena Eitram, Maddie Ewing, Casey Foster, Faith Gableman, George Ganley, Kelsey Harrison, Amanda Jones, Jaron Jones, Stephanie Lewis, Seth Lyle, Alana Lively, Aneasha Lobo, Kai Lockhart, Tiffany Lowe, Kyle Lucan, Brittany Martin, Grace McCullough, Marilyn Newberry, Haley Orlando, Shelby Osborne, Chase Palmer, Kristen Payne, Blaine Petty, Raul Quintanilla, Grace Raphael, Stephanie Savoy, Maddie Sepsic, Eric Sweet, Lauren Whitney, and Mickey Willis. Now I'd like to recognize another subset of this group. The next recognition is what I'm calling the ACT 30 Club. These are 11 legacy seniors, or 21% of our graduating class, that have a composite score on the ACT of 30 or higher. Please step up into the front on the tile. CJ Allison, Amanda Brown, Brock Crawford, George Ganley, Maddie Gosnell, Seth Lyle, Aneasha Lobo, Tiffany Lowe, Grace McCullough, Lauren Whitney, and Mickey Willis. And the next recognition is a new recognition this year because of our success. This is ACT Perfect Scores Group. So these four students each scored 1 or more perfect scores on the ACT. Brock Crawford in math and reading. Please step forward, Brock. Seth Lyle in science. Kristen Payne in reading. And Mickey Willis in English and reading. Congratulations, seniors. Your certificates are in the back. Thank you.
Would Mackenzie Katie please come forward? Each year I try to persuade my theology students that Christian living and right thinking about God are inseparable. Take, for instance, Paul's words to Timothy, keep close watch on yourself and on the teaching. It's rare to find a student like Mackenzie who doesn't need much convincing in these areas. Every day throughout the year she showed interest in the content we were studying in class. Her attitude and work ethic in class demonstrate the authenticity of her faith in Christ. I'm pleased to present the 9th grade Bible Award to Mackenzie Katie. Would Rachel Jobin please come forward? The Worldviews class is designed to equip students with mental tool that they can use to appropriately filter, judge, and evaluate the world of ideas. In a way that is very exceptional, Rachel Jobin has excelled in my class this year. She has mastered with enthusiasm virtually every aspect of the class. To give just one small example, I remember one day in particular, Rachel asked if she could stay after class and rehearse her tap speech. I wasn't really sure why she wanted me to hear her rehearsal until she told me that much of what was in her speech she learned in the Worldviews class. I listened and was very impressed. For those of you who might not know or have heard earlier, her speech won first place. What impresses me most about Rachel is the clear desire that she has to love God with all her mind, with all her thinking.
Would Jake Sloan come to the front, please? The goal of apologetics is to defend the truth of the Christian faith. All Christians are therefore apologists. They're either good apologists or they're bad apologists. A good apologist must understand theology, worldviews, logic, history, and have a passion for truth. Jake Sloan has demonstrated these qualities with zeal. He asks the good questions and understands the reasons behind his answers. Jake Sloan. And would Mickey Willis come to the front? Faith and Reason class. Most high school seniors understand the importance of apologetic thinking. Many Christians aspire to be one who thinks like a Christian, but the biblical mandate is to be a Christian thinker. A true apologist understands what it means, therefore, to think Christianly. This is what sets Mickey apart as an apologist. As he enters the arena of academia at West Point, Paul's admonishment in Ephesians 6 to be equipped with the armor of God is personal. May the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, and the belt of truth cause you to stand as you defend our nation and the truth of Christianity. Mickey Willis.
The outstanding student in Western literature is Jay Edwards. Come on up, Jay. Jay often has a pained expression on his face. He promises it's not because my class is all that terrible, but it's because he's trying so hard to figure things out. He has a relentless desire to seek and find truth, and he leaves no intellectual stone unturned in the process. He continually goes beyond the parameters of my assessments to find the deeper meaning of the text. He's a true thinker. In a world where most people don't have the patience to go beyond the first few entries of a Google search, we get to recognize Jay and his unrelenting pursuit of knowledge. Congratulations, Jay. The outstanding student in Pre-AP Western Literature is Anna Jacoby. Anna, please come up. Leading a literary discussion in freshman English class is a lot like fishing. The teacher throws the bait in hopes of attracting a few nibbles to reel the students in. Anna Jacoby is no mere minnow, but an academic shark that devours the bait and always seems hungry for more information, deeper knowledge, and more rigorous discussion. The thoughtfulness of her comments, her written and verbal expertise, and her unstoppable work ethic make her an extraordinary young woman, and I'm proud to recognize her with this award. Anna Jacoby. The outstanding student in American literature is Ross Widner. Ross. Sometimes great students are quiet in class, and because of this, they don't get the recognition others do. Some of my favorite interactions with Ross this year happened outside of the bells. He would often skip break to come in my room and discuss the isolation of Hester Prynne or the excess of Jay Gadsby, and go on to relate them both to our modern culture. His papers were able to capture honesty and insight not often risked by his classmates. Students can either hold their required literature at arm's length, or they can engage and wrestle with them to find truth. Ross exemplified this hard-fought engagement this year without even needing to raise his hand. Ross Widner.
Would Lane Guthman come forward, please? The best way to an English teacher's heart is through good annotations. All my students know that. Lane Guthman annotated his Pride and Prejudice book better than any book I have ever graded for annotations. Lane did not annotate that well for the grade, but instead he made connections to the characters and understood the book on a deeper level. Lane tries his best on everything he does, and he sees the value in what he is learning. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." Lane does not conform to the patterns of this world, and I believe that Lane will follow God's perfect plan for his future. Would Brianne Lowe come forward? Brianne is receiving the Pre-AP Western Literature Award. Brianne has shown much enthusiasm and effort this year in English Pre-AP. Brianne has a passion for reading that makes an English teacher thankful for students like her. Her love of reading will make her a lifelong reader and learner. God equips each of us with unique talents, and Brianne's passion for reading will make her successful in whatever God calls her to do. Philippians 1:6 says, "Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to the completion until the day of Christ Jesus." The Lord is doing a good work in Brianne. I pray that you are always a godly example to others through your words and actions, and that your love of reading continues.
I am proud to give the British Literature Award to Amanda Jones. Amanda is a diligent student who's prepared for class each day. She enjoys learning and always works hard. She thinks deeply and writes well, and I always enjoy reading what she writes in class. She's given some very interesting presentations, although she would say she's terrible at presentations, but I don't agree. Okay, I'm proud of how she's worked to improve in this area of her academic life. Her work ethic and Christian values make her stand out among her peers, and I know she's going to thrive in college next year. Congratulations.
Get a little card.
I'm proud to give the AP English Language Award to Amanda Brown. Amanda is an avid reader, a beautiful writer, and a deep thinker, and she's a bright young woman who loves to learn, and she's an active participant in our English class. She earned the highest score on the AP English Lit test last year, and she placed first in District TAPS competition in literary criticism this year, and she also advanced to state competition, playing sixth in state. She has achieved much academically, but I'm most impressed with her as a young woman who is truly trying to live for Christ each day, and it has been a privilege to be her advisor this year in addition to being her English teacher for 2 years. I know that God has big plans for you, Amanda, and good luck in Aggieland. Woo!
Would Paige Capers come up, please? Being a ninth grader in a high school can be a pretty tough place to be. It's like being the small fish in a big pond. The transition of being the big man on campus to the low man on the totem pole is an adjustment. Getting into a new routine of more difficult classes and trying to balance academics and homework with athletics or fine arts can be brutal. I observed the student that is the recipient of this year's 9th grade Western Civilization Award transition through all of these adjustments. She grew up and matured into a mature, very motivated high school student this year. She strives for success and works very hard in class each day. It's my honor to award the 9th grade Western Civilization Award to Paige Capers. Paige.
All right. Would Miss Rachel Kane please come up? That's not what I had. All right. Most students do a decent job of attaining knowledge and hopefully retaining it for a period of time. Every now and then a student will separate themselves from the pack. That breakaway is applying the knowledge they receive in class to life. This student demonstrated her ability to separate herself on the first day of class. I gave an introductory presentation in which I challenged the students to stop waiting for life to happen, but instead make it happen. I talked about getting out of your comfort zones and taking chances in life. The next day I received an email from this student's father, who I'll probably get another one, saying I shouldn't have said anything, but I'm sorry, I had to do it, who thanked me for what I said in class because his daughter came home and made a decision to get out of her comfort zone. She had decided to go on a trip that originally she said no to, but after class she chose to get out of her comfort zone and make life happen. She demonstrated her ability to obtain knowledge and then apply it to her life. For that reason, I'm proud to present the 9th grade Pre-AP Western Civilization Award to Rachel Kane. Would Matthew Cusack please come forward? Matthew Cusack? All right. He is not here, but I still would like to take a second to talk about him. Part of what makes teaching history exciting is engaging students who enjoy it as much as I do, and students who understand the importance of learning from people and events from the past. This student truly enjoys studying history and has actually been selected to travel with Hillsdale College on an international study throughout different parts of Western Europe. He is the type of student who keeps me on my toes and truly desires to engage the past in order to prepare for the future. Because of this, it is my honor to present the award to Matthew Cusack. Would Miss Shannon Hunt please come forward? When deciding who to give this award to, there were multiple students who came to mind, but this student stuck out above the rest for multiple reasons. She sits right in front of my class, right in front of me, and finally, I had to move the desk because we had testing, and she would still sit there, even though there was no desk. She would pull up a chair that looked like this, and because she had to have that spot. She engages in class discussion. She strives for excellence on every assignment, and she literally thanks me at the end of every class. I could not be more honored to give this award to one of the nicest, kindest students I've ever taught. So it's my pleasure to give this year's 10th grade Pre-AP Western Civilization Award to Shannon Hunt.
This year's outstanding student in American government is Miss Maddie Gosnell. Maddie is a young woman that is passionate about government, passionate about politics, and she really does a wonderful job of being able to connect the dots of what we learn in class and what goes on in Washington. She's incredibly hardworking, caring, kind, and thorough. She's a leader inside and outside of the classroom. Very rarely does a class debate end without Maddie having made her mark, and she has this uncanny ability of going toe-to-toe with any adversary and doing it in the friendliest and most polite fashion every time. She has a wonderful mind and depth of thinking that is not terribly common amongst students her age. I look forward to hearing tales of her future endeavors because I know that she will accomplish great things in the very near future. Our Student of the Year for American Government is Miss Maddie Gosnell. This year's outstanding student for economics is Mr. George Ganley. George is an incredibly gifted young man that strives to take full advantage of every educational opportunity that comes his way. In class, he is thoughtful, engaging, inquisitive, focused, witty, and at times full of surprises. George is an active learner who leads from the front with humor and grace. He can always be counted on for a quip or comment that leaves half of us laughing and the other half trying to catch up. He has a nose for business and a good grasp of sound economic principles. As an example, for our class business projects, many students created business plans on a wide variety of fantastic inventions and creative endeavors. George, on the other hand, set up a hedge fund, plotting his path to billions. Sensible, pragmatic, hardworking, caring, understanding, and tremendous character. George will be tremendously successful in the university setting because that is all that he will accept of himself. And it has been a great pleasure to teach him and others like him this school year. Our Student of the Year for Economics is Mr. George Ganley.
Would Grace McCullough come up? The student who enrolls in the John Brown University concurrent program must be a very focused, driven, and organized student who seeks to enrich their academic challenges. The person who is the recipient of this year's JBU U.S. History Award is the epitome of these characteristics. Thank you. Okay. This young lady approaches every assignment with an exceptional drive and attitude, always going above and beyond what is expected and ensuring that every one of her completed assignments is of the highest quality. The recipient of this year's JBU Concurrent U.S. History Award is Grace McCullough.
I would like to present the coveted Geometry Award to Hayden Blake. Come on down. As we all know, geometry is every student's favorite subject. With all the excitement of complementary and supplementary angles, spatial reasoning, counterpositives, SOHCAHTOA, and of course those exhilarating proofs, it has a very special place in everyone's heart. This year, however, there has been one future mathematician who has not only embraced all things geometry related, but has also excelled above and beyond. Hayden always found the magnitude of a vector with a smile on his face, was the first to raise his hand to prove which corresponding sides of congruent triangles were proportional. I remember that. And knew just exactly which angles were a whaty or what. It's an inside joke. Anyway, second period. His ever-positive attitude and an unfaltering willingness to always help those around him was much appreciated. His well-timed witty banter also kept us on our toes. It's with great pleasure to hereby present this year's Geometry Award to none other than Hayden Blake. Well, if geometry is everyone's favorite class of all time, well then pre-AP geometry is just a small glimmer of heaven here on earth. With all the awestruck beauty of alternate exterior angles, the glorious majesty of finding the lateral surface area of hexagonal prisms, and the amazing countenance of multi-step proofs, I believe it's just a step below witnessing the angelic host singing praises to our Lord. That's what I feel, at least. With that in mind, Candace has been one student in particular who has risen above the rest with her eagerness and desire to go above and beyond in her organization, preparation, and diligence in learning. Come on down, Candace Collier. Sorry for calling you. Come on down. Yes. Her encouraging and positive spirit always makes a wonderful impact on those around her in and out of the classroom. Her willingness to help others, dedication to finishing strong, and always having a smile on her face earns Candace this year's Pre-AP Geometry Award. There you go. Congratulations. Thank you. All right. The Algebra 2 Award goes to Mitchell Wilson. Come on down. Mitchell Wilson. To some, Algebra 2 is just an easy and relaxing continuation of Algebra 1, and those people would be mostly correct. However, just when we seem to have come to grips with the fact that some wonderful people have added letters to math, such as X and Y, they've gone ahead and added other letters such as I and E. Weird. Just for good measure. As if math wasn't complicated enough, apparently someone felt the need to include imaginary and irrational numbers to confound us even further. Fortunately, most students have rationally adapted to the direct variations well enough. But there has been one student in particular who has excelled exponentially compared to the rest. Mitchell has been solid like a mathematical log throughout the year. He has shown the quadratic formula, who's the boss. Complex numbers aren't quite so complex to him. And he handles matrices like Neo. It's a movie reference. Anyways, hope you got that. Good. His tremendous dedication and hard work has been a huge factor in not only his success, but has also made a difference in those around him. His willingness to help others and distribute his knowledge to those in need is just another index of his character. Sorry for the puns. It's been a pleasure having him in class, and it's an honor to present the Algebra 2 Award to none other than Mitchell Wilson. Congratulations. There you are. This guy.
Okay, how to follow that? I really thought that nobody was as nerdy as me, but he just trumped me exponentially. I was adding one, that's all I got. Sorry, for one. So mine are not nearly as mathematically punny, but for her incredible diligence and enthusiasm, I'm giving the Algebra 1 award to Kat Keith. I'm fairly certain that Kat herself told me at the beginning of the year that she didn't know if she really liked math. I think everyone's a little skeptical going into Algebra 1 because it's one of the first big steps into thinking outside of the box in math. But my favorite moment this year with Kat was when she came in for tutoring, was working through a problem and said, you know, this is sort of fun when you get it. And this is a true statement, I'm not just putting this in here. But the light bulb went off for Kat. And while I know there have been plenty of unsure moments and challenges throughout the year, Kat has been amazing at taking the initiative to come in for tutoring and really shows her desire to learn and understand every concept we study in Algebra 1. I have all the confidence in the world that Kat will be successful in any level of math she takes, and even more than that she has proven that she can and will be successful in anything she sets her mind to in her academic career. Well done, Kat Keith. I'm giving the Pre-AP Algebra 2 award to Addison Gilbert. The group of students I've had this year in Algebra 2 is exceptional, but Addison has set himself apart in a very surprising way. While he's not the most talkative student in class, he is always very attentive and on top of his work. He has only asked a few questions throughout the year, so when he came in one day in February and asked if I would help him with a couple questions because he was 10 topics away from finishing an ALEX, I was a little surprised. To be clear, at that point in time, we were halfway through Chapter 6. So he had completed Chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11 almost all on his own. That's an amazing thing. It blew me away, literally. He finished all of Algebra 2 at the end of February and has now moved on to pre-cal. If that's not initiative, then I don't know what it is. I'm so impressed with his ability to understand very complex concepts with little guidance, and by how self-motivated Addison was to complete something without being prompted to do so. Congratulations, Addison. There's this for you. Thank you. Yes, congrats. And finally, the College Algebra Award this year goes to Maddie Ewing. I've had the privilege of teaching Maddie for the past 2 years in math, both of which had a wonderfully unique group of students in class. Even since Algebra 2 last year, Maddie has been incredibly diligent in taking notes and completing assignments, whether it came easily to her or not. I don't know that Maddie would ever say that math is her favorite subject, but the reason I'm giving her this award is because of how much she's grown over the past 2 years. I've seen her develop a confidence in math that she didn't have at the beginning of Algebra 2. In fact, she has become one of the go-to people in third period college algebra if you want to check your homework or get a quick explanation. While there are many incredibly talented and gifted students in college algebra, Maddie has really stood out this year, which is incredibly hard to do with more and more senioritis setting in every day. It is always bittersweet to see students leave legacy, but I'm beyond confident that Maddie will be successful in college and can't wait to see what all she will accomplish. Congratulations, Maddie.
I'd like to present this year's Pre-AP Pre-Calculus Award to Maggie McCullough. The Legacy Trigonometry Pre-Cal course involves learning many new concepts and many challenging things along the way with real-life applications. Maggie McCullough performed in an exemplary manner, achieving a 96% or better on every single exam for the entire year. That's awesome. Maggie often worked with other students to help them understand difficult topics. Maggie achieved first place in the Math League exams for pre-calculus. It is an honor to present this year's Trigonometry Pre-Calculus Award to Maggie McCullough. Next, I'd like to present the Dual Credit Calculus Award to Seth Lyle. I'll try to integrate this presentation with the other math awards. Dual Credit Calculus is the toughest math course a student can take at Legacy. It is a college-level course requiring many hours of study and preparation. He will get both high school and college credit in mathematics. This year, Seth Lyle consistently performed in an outstanding manner. When other students could not figure out how to solve a calculus problem, they went to Seth for help. He set the standard. Seth was the top math student on the Math League calculus exams. Seth Lyle is this year's Calculus Award recipient. Seth is the calculus champion.
The Biology Award this year goes to Mylin Lillard. From time to time, a student comes through my class that really seems to identify with actually what I'm teaching and seems to like it. In addition to paying attention in class, getting her homework in on time, and doing her best, very best on tests and projects, I love that she doesn't mind speaking up in class and adding constructive and interesting comments. Such is the case with the student winning this Biology Award, Mylin Lillard. And for our anatomy this year, our winner is Maddie Bixler. When a student goes beyond what is required, asks lots of good questions, and seems genuinely interested in what I'm teaching, I get excited. This young lady has been like that all year long. She's continued to dialogue with me about anatomy, even outside the classroom. Her inquisitive yet serious nature makes her an excellent student that I have been blessed to teach this year. This year's Anatomy Award winner is Maddie Bixler.
Could I have Travis Smith come forward, please? Travis is the recipient of this year's Pre-AP Biology Award. Travis is one of my top dissectors. He has a skilled hand, a thoroughness to his investigations. I can always count on Travis to have a positive attitude, a mind ready to learn, and a desire to work to the best of his ability. He seeks understanding above knowledge each and every day. When I think of him, Colossians 3:23 comes to mind. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord and not for men. I am confident his desire for excellence in all that he does will most certainly be used by the Lord to further the kingdom. Congratulations, Travis. Aneasha Lobo, please come forward. Aneasha is this year's John Brown University Concurrent Cell Biology Award winner. It is a 4-credit college class. I've had the pleasure of having Aneasha her freshman year and now her senior year. Concurrent cell biology is a rigorous college course which from the start, Aneasha hit out of the ballpark. From everything you would ever want to know about the cell, genetics, molecular biology. I know it's not like math. Aneasha has superseded her peers in the mastery of these concepts. She not only has a gift of understanding the biological sciences, but also has an unshakable worldview of biology's purpose and design that could only have been created by God. It has been a pleasure teaching and guiding Aneasha in this course. I know she will be an unbelievable medical professional that God will use for great purposes. I'm certain that the prefix of doctor will not be far off for Aneasha. I'm proud of you, Aneasha. I know God is going to use you. Congratulations.
I have the pleasure of giving out our awards for chemistry and physics. For on-level chemistry, our outstanding student this year is Miss Brooke Tomlin. Some of the characteristics that I admire most in students is commitment and determination. From the very first day of class in chemistry, this young lady was determined to understand and master every challenge that this class had to offer her. She never got discouraged, she never quit, believing that she could learn what she needed to learn to be successful in the subject. Her diligence and positive attitude led her to become one of the top students in chemistry, and her integrity and kindness made her stand out above the rest. Her positive attitude was so contagious that it helped the people around her improve also. Congratulations, Brooke Tomlin, on a wonderful year in chemistry. It was a little tougher on pre-AP chemistry kids. Pushed them really, really hard. This year's award winner in pre-AP chemistry is Mr. Dylan Muller. Every so often, teachers get what they might refer to as a dream student. This would be someone who loves the subject being taught, shows great interest, and even inquires to know more and more. The student would always be on time, would always have their homework completed, even done early, would study so hard that 100s on tests were the norm, not the exception. I was extremely blessed this year to have one of these dream students in my pre-AP chemistry in the person of Mr. Dylan Muller. Honestly, I have to be honest, I actually had more than one of these students, but what set Dylan apart was his true love of the subject and his willingness to share what he learned with others. His classmates have come to trust and depend on Dylan to be able to understand something when no one else could. He is truly a joy to have in class, and I look forward to sharing more with him in the future. Mr. Dylan Muller. Physics. This year's physics winner, Miss Katie Cutts. You know, it's not often that you see a high school student who confidently knows who they are and they know what they want out of life. From the very first day of class, it was real obvious that Miss Katie Cutts had her mind set on becoming the top student in on-level physics. She committed to that task early, and she's not wavered in her pursuit of that goal all year. She's worked hard, she stayed attentive, maintained her high level of work. She also demonstrated tremendous wisdom in applying for and becoming accepted to an outstanding center for higher education. Yes, that would be my alma mater, Texas A&M University. Miss Katie Cutts. My last award goes to the outstanding pre-AP physics student. That would be Miss Allie Ivy. Some subjects like pre-AP physics, pre-calculus, calculus, AP English, or John Brown cell biology, they can be very demanding and extremely challenging. Usually when you find a student that excels in one of these subjects, you expect them to be the type of student who's always studying, always dedicated to academics, involved in very little else. Well, then there are those students who are involved in everything. Always showing up for school activities. You look around, they're always there, always jumping in whenever there's a need and just helping out wherever that need it needs to be applied. This unusual student in pre-AP physics completely fits into both categories. She's diligent, she's studious, highly involved in so many activities. She can be seen at almost any school activity anytime. Her name is Allie Ivy, and I guess you would have to say that being good at either one of those really doesn't fit her. Those words really don't describe her. I would really say that because she's really good at anything she does, she's reached great status. Good job, Allie.
I would like to present this year's Pre-AP Engineering Award to Lauren Whitney. Engineering at Legacy involves learning about aeronautical and astronautical engineering, robotics, architectural and structural engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and power engineering. We also do other things on the weekend. It is a challenging course requiring extensive lab work as well as academic rigor. This year's engineering award goes to Lauren Whitney. She performed in an outstanding manner both academically as well as in labs. Lauren's insistence on developing a computer-aided program design here at Legacy was instrumental in starting Legacy down the path toward programming and computer-aided design. I think you'll see this as a growth area at Legacy. Lauren demonstrated her dedication to quality and commitment to excellence by producing the top engineering notebook at this year's Collin County Boosting Engineering, Science, and Technology Robotics Competition. She made the top notebook there out of all the schools competing. This enabled Legacy's robotics team to do the best it's ever done at this competition. It's a pleasure to give the Engineering Award for 2014 to Lauren Whitney. I would like to present, we have a new award this year. We just started at Legacy. It's the Robotics Award, and I would like to present it to Michelle Island. The Robotics Award is given to that student who made the greatest impact and was the most instrumental in leading the Legacy robotics team. Michelle Island faced and conquered numerous engineering challenges as she led Legacy's robotics teams. Out of 32 teams that entered the competition, 23 had working robots. Out of 23 working robots, Legacy came in 9th place. We were competing against giants like Allen and Prosper High Schools. Michelle is the only student in the history of the Collin County Best Competition that ever successfully produced a rotating screw lift system to raise and lower a robot, and she got special commendation for that. Michelle is the definition of what it means to be innovative. It is my honor to present this year's Legacy Robotics Award to Michelle Island.
Hola. Would Angelica Vogt please come to the front? Is she here tonight? No? Okay, well, I'll tell you guys about her anyway. She's awesome. On the third day of class, I pulled her to the side and I said, Angelica, do you guys speak Spanish at home? Because you're really good and you're a natural and everyone's always asking you for help. And she said, no, ma'am, I just listen to what you tell me. And I was like, okay, well, you're awesome. So I have her for Spanish 1, and it's always intimidating to learn a new language and pronounce random words in front of your peers, but Angelica has been a diligent student and my most active participant all year. She takes pride in her work and always pursues information. She's a natural when it comes to Spanish. Would Caitlin Balcom come to the front? Caitlin is also in my advisory group, and she's just a pleasure to be around in general. But as a Spanish student, she's a joy to have in class. She has a meek attitude, but a roaring spirit for Christ. She's humble, but always in the know when it comes to Spanish. To know her is to love her. She's an all-around great person and wonderful student.
This year's Spanish 3 Pre-AP award winner is Bethany May. Throughout the year, Bethany has shown commitment, diligence, and hard work in her pursuit of learning the Spanish language. And I was just going to tell a quick story about her. Bethany always, or never really, uses Google Translate to try to get any of her work done, which we do allow in class, but I never see it. She is a lovely student to teach, and I've enjoyed getting to know her over the past 2 years. I know that she will be just as successful as she pursues John Brown Concurrent Spanish next year. Felicitaciones a Bethany. All right, as I mentioned before, Mr. Algren is not here this evening, so I'll be giving his Latin awards as well, and I'll read them the best I can. The second year of foreign language is always when things become interesting. This student has accepted the challenge. Oh, Gabby Langiel. Sorry. This student has accepted the challenge with grace, fortitude, and zeal. She exhibits a tenacity for understanding, which is truly heartwarming. This year's Latin 2 award is presented to Gabby. For Latin 3, would Josh Go please come forward? Latin 3 is probably my favorite level. This is when the real nuances of language are explored and exciting, critical reading can occur. This student has stepped up to this challenge level with admirable consistency. He always asks the most necessary questions and exhibits a proactiveness that will benefit him for years to come. He is quite meticulous, but I feel that his attention to detail is one of his greatest strengths. Josh, go.
This year there are 2 speech awards and 2 debate awards, and first I will present Mr. Algren's speech and debate students. If Alexa Monin would come forward, please. Speech is always an interesting class and encourages students to branch out of their comfort zone and apply their skills of research, writing, and speaking to areas of true interest to them. This student has shown herself to be a thorough researcher, gifted writer, and effective speaker. Her contributions to the class, be it as a work partner or discussion contributor, have been invaluable. This year's speech award for Mr. Algren's class is presented to Alexa Monin. Mr. Algren's debate student of the year is Morgan Cruz. When students sign up for debate, their parents always tell me how much they like to argue. I have to say I agree, and this student has been a joy to argue with. She has a keen intellect, quickly picking up on the nuances of arguments and offering insightful information. She works well with any partner, is a thorough researcher, and eager contributor. This year's debate award for Mr. Algren's class is presented to Morgan Cruz. And the speech award for my speech class is being presented to Rachel Jobin. Public speaking is a skill that comes natural to few people. Most have to work hard to overcome the apprehension felt when standing up in front of a group to make a presentation. I enjoy watching the progression in speech class as students move from those feelings of apprehension at the beginning of the semester to a newfound confidence in themselves by the end of the semester. For some, this is a larger hurdle than others. Some students find that not only can they deliver a speech, but they can also speak well and intelligently. One of my students discovered this for herself this year. She not only worked hard each day in class, but she also went above and beyond to prepare for her presentations. I knew when she gave her final persuasive speech that it was exceptional. So exceptional, in fact, that I asked her to step out of her comfort zone and take it to competition. She took that challenge, was extremely successful at competition, and proved to herself that she could use her intellect to positively influence others through speaking. It has been my pleasure to watch these changes take place in this year's Speech Student of the Year, Rachel Jobin. Taylor Purdue. Taylor Purdue is the Debate Student of the Year for my class. Debate is a class that is fun and challenging. Students are given the opportunity to examine difficult social issues, and they are expected to be able to argue opposing sides of these issues. This can be difficult for some, however, others seem to love the challenge and are willing to put in the time to fully research a topic and understand various viewpoints concerning that topic. The Student of the Year for my class was always willing to put in the work necessary to prepare for a debate. She also utilized her speaking abilities and natural confidence to successfully argue whatever topic she was called upon to address. I look forward to seeing where her talents and abilities lead this year's Debate Student of the Year, Taylor Purdue.
13 years ago, these students started Legacy in kindergarten. They will be this year's recipients of our Founders Award that recognizes their entire education at Legacy Christian Academy. Please come to the front stage with me. Amanda Brown, Lauren Buffington, Brock Crawford, Lauren Crouch, Skylar Crouch, Hayden Dyer, Jacob Eisenman, Stephanie Lewis, and Brittany Martin. Thanks for spending your entire education with us.
I'd like to welcome our Student Council President, Maddie Gosnell, to the stage. Maddie. Gavels similar to this one are often struck to command authority, to gather attention, or to punctuate a proclamation or decree. As student council president, Maddie had no need for such a device. She had respect of her classmates because she led by example. She could call an impromptu meeting because she stood tall and confident. She built consensus and gathered support because people trusted her good judgment. Maddie, we're all proud of you and your leadership this year, and I would like to give you this keepsake gavel, knowing, thankfully, that you don't really need it.
I have the LSO, or the Legacy Service Organization Award, is for President Katie Cutts, if she could come forward. So as LSO president, or any of our LSO executives, I think the thing that we most know that these students have to give up is their time. And Katie is always willing to give up her time for the homeless or the kids at Buckner. And so the kids at Buckner have a present for you tonight. They took a picture in their thanks for everything that Katie's done for them over the past 3 years. So I'd like to thank Katie personally for 2 great years, and I'm going to miss her a lot next year.
I'd like Aneasha Lobo to come forward, please. So Aneasha has been the president of NHS this year, and as you know, she's been up here a lot. She's very active, and so I couldn't have asked for a better president, and she's just been great this year.
One of the reasons why you send your student to Legacy Christian Academy is because not only do we recognize them for academics, but you send them here to work on their character. You send them here to be godly men and women. You send them here to give them opportunities to develop their leadership characteristics. These awards are voted on by our student body. I'm amazed at how well our student body does in selecting these individuals. At this time, I'd like to share with you some. We call them Christian Character Awards, and they're basically 3 categories, and I will read them as we call them out. The first award is the Christian Character Award. A student of integrity who is willing to be set apart in his or her choices by living a life of obedience to God's Word. The student is uncompromising, committed to honoring Christ, pursues holiness, and remains faithful to the Word of God. Our 9th grade recipients this year, if you come forward at this time, Miss Katie Paxton and Mr. Spencer York. I asked our teachers to give us some descriptions of these students, and I'd like to share some with you at this time. For Katie, she's a very open and honest person. She is honest with everyone. Displays Christian character in the classroom. She sets an example of hard work and dedication. She's not afraid to speak out for what she believes, making it clear that certain behaviors are not Christ-like and furthermore unladylike. I think the girls in her grade benefit from having her as a positive influence. Another teacher says one character trait Christ exemplified was joy. A class doesn't go by without Katie bringing joy to the lives of those around her. Miss Katie Paxton. Mr. Spencer York is an outstanding student who works diligently on anything he is asked to do. He is respectful and exhibits Christian character in all that he does. He is talented and gets his work done in a superb and timely manner. Another teacher writes, a consistent student and a personable young man. He has integrity without coming across as self-righteous. He has a great work ethic, and his attitude in class is an example to follow. He accepts criticism with wisdom and remains humble in all his many successes. Mr. Spencer York. Our 10th grade recipients of the Christian Character Award, Ms. Lauren Pettijohn and Mr. Josh Go. Our teachers write of Lauren, she is graceful and kind, never rude or mean. Works very hard at everything she does. She shows Christ-like character through her quiet works. She's very kind-hearted, always displays a beautiful smile, and has an uplifting spirit about her. Another teacher writes, Lauren has such a sweet spirit. She's always respectful and carries a level of integrity that is unmatched. Miss Lauren Pettijohn. Mr. Josh Go, one of the most respectful students I've ever taught. He is genuinely interested in learning and helping others as well. My favorite thing that Josh does to show his character is in his greetings. Every day, he says, thank you, at the end of class, and have a great weekend on a Friday. And I believe he is sincere in doing so. He may not be incredibly outspoken, but what he does say is with intention and always uplifting. Another teacher writes, many students look to Josh for help and advice. Students seek him out because they know that he will be a godly example. The spirit of power and self-discipline that Josh shows each day provides all students of LCA with an example of Christian character. And finally, another teacher writes, Josh has been a true blessing in my life. He is a man of few words, but when he speaks, you better not miss what he has to say. He seeks to impact lives and does so through leading by example. Mr. Josh Go. 11th grade Christian Character Award winners, Miss Maggie McCullough and Mr. Tyler Bohannon. Maggie has a sweet spirit, sincere manner that shows Christ in all she says and does. She's thoughtful, considerate of the people she comes in contact with. Maggie thinks about what she does and is deliberate in following Christ. Maggie's a student with the desire for truth. She can carry the conversation. Maggie leads her peers with integrity, kindness, and a strong work ethic. She is involved in many activities, but stays caught up with her schoolwork. Miss Maggie McCullough. Tyler is a student with a unique determination, willing to overcome difficult obstacles. He is respectful to both his peers and teachers. His smile and positive attitude encourage everyone with which he comes into contact. Another teacher writes, Tyler has a positive spirit that expresses gratitude freely. He is a young man of determination and strong intellect. Mr. Tyler Bohannon. Senior Christian Character Award winner, Ms. Stephanie Savoy and Mr. Kyle Lucan. Stephanie is a diligent young woman who's goal-oriented and works hard to achieve her goals. She does not let things get in her way. When she has a project, she follows through till it is complete. She is passionate and pursues perfection in all she does. Another teacher writes, a student driven by conviction for truth and that which is right. She understands fully the virtue of justice. She is gentle, kind, caring, and consistent. She lives a life of integrity every day and tries to live out a Christian worldview in all her actions. Miss Stephanie Savoy. Kyle Lucan is a young man of great heart and character. He truly cares for those around him and has genuine interest in their lives. The way he lives his life is a testament to the relationship he has with Christ and the value he places in sharing that relationship with others. Another teacher writes, Kyle is always honest and respectful. He has an incredibly unique personality, and he's not easily swayed by others' opinions. His strong will, self-confidence, and reliance on God are evident every day. He is willing to stand up for truth, and I've personally witnessed him do this in my class. I was very impressed that he would defend truth so fervently in front of his peers. Mr. Kyle Lucan. Next award we're recognizing is a Servant Hearts Award. The description reads as follows: a student who best represents the qualities of a true servant, following Christ's example by putting the needs of others first. The 9th grade recipients are Kelsey Lowe and Jacob Crawford. Kelsey is the first to turn to help a student in need, yet not afraid to speak her mind and especially to stand up for what is right. I admire her willingness to stand up even against her peers. Another teacher writes, she has displayed a servant's heart in the classroom of being a wonderful helper to those around her. Her servant attitude comes shining through her sweet spirit. She is always willing to give a kind word, a simple smile to brighten someone's day. Miss Kelsey Lowe. Mr. Jacob Crawford has earned the respect of his classmates without saying a word. He has displayed a servant's heart in the classroom by cheerfully working with others to improve their math skills. He is a willing servant who courageously volunteers to do anything that will advance the kingdom of God. Jacob is not a man of many words, but he is someone who leads others by example. The respectfulness he demonstrates towards me is a breath of fresh air, and it's a testament to the posture of his heart. Mr. Jacob Crawford. 10th grade winners of the Servant Hearts Award, as voted on by their peers, Ms. Shannon Hunt and Mr. Lane Guthman. Shannon displays godly character each day in my class. I'm thankful for her she is thankful for her education and expresses her gratitude to me at the end of every day. I appreciate her attitude and example to others. She's an example of Christ's love. Shannon is always a benefit to whomever she's around. She's always making sure no one feels isolated during discussions and that everyone is heard. She's very conscientious in serving others with a compassionate heart, making herself available in times of need. Another teacher writes, all I can say about Shannon is I hope my daughters turn out to be as sweet as her. She never has a bad thing to say, and she always brings out the best in those around her. Miss Shannon Hunt. Lane displays the fruits of the Spirit in his words and actions. He shows patience and displays kindness to all his classmates. He displays a passion for helping others and enjoys meeting their needs. Lane is a true servant in the truest sense of the word. He makes himself available to do anything needed of him. He's always going above and beyond and giving of his time and resources to assist others. Another teacher writes, Lane finds joy in meeting the needs of others. His love language appears to be acts of service. Lane is not afraid to lay himself on the altar so that God may be glorified in this service to others around him. Mr. Lane Guthman. Eleventh grade Servant Heart Award winners, Miss Katie Stockton and Mr. Ross Widner. Katie is always concerned about doing what is best for others. She is a gentle, kind young lady who always gives her best and who is always willing to help. Another teacher writes, Katie is kind, patient, and caring. She notices others in need around her and lives out her faith on a daily basis. Miss Katie Stockton. Ross is a quiet servant who, once committed to a cause, is faithful to see it completed. The causes he takes up are rarely wasted on self, but rather are kingdom focused to bring glory to God. When I think of a kind and compassionate servant's heart, I think of Ross. He's a student that's first in the door and last to leave. He is always looking and seeking out ways to improve not only himself, but the entire group. He thinks of others before himself and sees the good in the bad. He is the epitome of patience and compassion, consistently aware of the needs of others and derives true enjoyment from simply being there for someone. He never seeks recognition and, more significantly, never shows annoyance when recognition is not given. I can say with confidence that most of us have been blessed by him at one time or another. Mr. Ross Whitner. Our senior winners of the Servant's Heart Award, Miss Katie Cutts and Mr. Jaron Jones. Katie is a compassionate lady who places the needs of others above her own. She's a good thinker and a wonderful person. She's kind and compassionate. Her passion for the kids of LSO and the special needs adults at Cornerstone is evident in her life. She includes those around her and encourages the hurting among us that most teenagers never even take time to see. A wonderful young woman who exhibits Christ's love and caring on a daily basis. In class, she constantly helps others or allows others to go ahead of her with questions, and with her friends, she always seemed to be a source of support and uplifts others. Miss Katie Cutts. Jaron Jones, a bright spot in everybody's day, although sometimes a little sleepy. He does have energy and encouragement for those around him when the time comes. He is brave and loving to all, loves to laugh, and brings joy to his peers and teachers. Amongst his peers, Jaron is known for being unique, but he is even more known for having a huge heart and caring spirit. He's always willing to lend a giving hand to his friends and those around him. He's beloved by his classmates for his humor, wit, and desire to see others smile. He has set a great example for his peers through his heartfelt acts of service. Another teacher writes, Jaron displays a willingness to serve others. He will lend a helping hand whenever you need it. This was especially true with engineering projects. Mr. Jaron Jones. Our final award is voted on by the students as a new award this year. We entitled the Christian Leadership Award. The description is as follows. A student who faithfully and boldly proclaims Christ to other students. The student takes initiative to advance the kingdom of God on campus. They are a staunch defender of the faith, leading others to truth in both word and deed. For the 9th grade, Ms. Brinkley Bounds and Mr. Chris Harmon. Brinkley has a way of making a day brighter. She leads by example and always reflects a positive attitude. She brings joy to the room with her unsinkable attitude. A true Christian leader, she uses her talents for Christ and always tries her best. Miss Brinkley Bounce. Chris, people just want to follow this guy. He has a rare way of attracting followers in an unsolicited manner. He's outspoken when it comes to his beliefs. He always stands for the underdog and is assertive when he seeks understanding. He is a true Christian leader. When I think of Chris, I think of someone who is consistent. He never is wavering, which demonstrates great strength and level-headedness. When trials come, he's someone who will stay strong through the fight. Mr. Chris Harmon. 10th grade Christian Leadership Award goes to Grace McKeon and Dylan Muller. Grace is a consistent, diligent thinker who exemplifies the Christian walk. She is passionate about truth. She's always willing to stand up for what's right, regardless of peer pressure, and she is well respected for it. She has an innate sense of justice. What is right? What is wrong? I look at Grace McKeon like a David taking on giants. She's so tiny, but she has a tremendous strength about her that makes her a great leader, just like David. Her integrity and her leadership skills are well known among her peers, and she's not afraid to step up and take charge when needed. She does this with tremendous patience and kindness that often makes her a special Christian leader like David, who has a, quote, heart after God's own heart. Miss Grace McKeon. As an academic, I don't know if I've ever seen a stronger leader in the classroom. He's driven, intrinsically motivated in all that he does. Dylan is an incredibly bright student who takes initiative in everything I've seen him do. He does not have to be asked to help another student. He just does it out of genuine desire for them to be successful. He's a great leader, a good example. He displays strong Christian morals to his classmates. Another teacher writes, Dylan, a young man who could easily allow pride to creep into his life, is very kind-hearted and humble student. He always desires to help others, which reflects the very nature of what Christ was about during his time on earth. Mr. Dylan Muller. 11th grade winners of the Christian leadership as voted by their peers, Miss Allie Ivy and Mr. Mitchell Wilson. No task is too hard for Allie. She's caring and willing to go to the distance to help a friend. She's a student who places emphasis on the principle of the best. She has a unique passion for doing things above and beyond the call of duty. Allie leads her peers by example. She's a diligent student with a great work ethic. She's known for her positive attitude. Miss Allie Ivy. Mitchell is an exemplary young man who is a Christian in all that he says and does. He's respectful of those around him and those in authority over him. He is dedicated to working hard to complete his task or project. Mitchell is a young man who counts the cost of discipleship and is willing to pay it. He recognizes the blessing of LCA in his life and courageously defends it among his peers. Gratitude and meekness are displayed daily, along with strength and courage. He's a young man who affects others, often in a manner that others are even unaware. This young man is a good thinker, who will become a great thinker one day if he continues along his current path. Mr. Mitchell Wilson. And our senior winners, Miss Grace McCullough and Mr. Brock Crawford. Grace is the epitome of the word leader, another one of our students that has a caring heart and will do just about anything to help another. She stands up for those who need her support. She leads girls that are younger to believe in themselves and to be kind to others. Determination, strength, integrity are characteristics that follow her daily. She's a great thinker who has the passion for truth and compassion for others. She's a leader in both athletics and in the classroom. She works hard, demonstrates consistent leadership every day. She's a true Christian scholar with a strong biblical worldview. Miss Grace McCullough. Brock leads his peers in football and band and in the classroom. He's a hard worker, jumps on the task at hand, rarely if ever complains. He has innate leadership qualities that he uses to positively guide those around him. He's not afraid of hard work. He's not afraid to tackle a difficult situation. He's a man called to do that which men do. He's a leader in both word and deed. His positive influence on those around him causes them to strive for excellence. His classmates and peers all respect him because of his commitment as a student and as an athlete. He lives his life to a very high standard, which inspires us all and many more with whom he will come in contact with in the future. Mr. Brock Crawford. Well, just about the time the room gets cool, we're about to walk out. It's been another great year at LCA. We have wrapping up a school year. We have things called finals coming up, of which you're very aware, parents. We have senior chapel and graduation, and the class of 2015 is going to head off on their new senior label retreat. So we have a lot of things here busy at the end of the year. We thank you as always for placing your trust in us. We value it. Know that we are in partnership with you. We are here for you, and we're here for your students. We have amazing students because we have amazing parents, and we have amazing families. This is a unique place, a very unique place. where students are loved unconditionally, they're rigorously challenged every day, and they're trained in a biblical worldview. Another reason why this is such an amazing place is because we have the blessing, and I have the blessing of working with an amazing faculty. And at this time, I would like for them to come and stand right up here. Every single one of you, don't be shy. Come stand right up here. Come on, come on. These are the men and women who stay up late at night. These are the men and women who are shoulders that your students cry upon when they need a shoulder. They're the ones who push them to do their best. They're the ones who often are the unsung heroes. But they're the ones 10 and 15 and 20 years from now who walk back through that office door and sit here and talk to Miss Tony so she can't get her job done. Just talk and talk and talk, and we love that. And that's because of the people you see before you. We're not perfect, and we tell new families and students that are coming in that we're just perfectly forgiven by a Savior who paid the ultimate price. And we're here to work with you, and we lay it all on the line every day, and these teachers are the best. And I can say that. I've known a lot of them over the years. And they're an amazing group. And I hope you will take time before you leave tonight to express to them how grateful you are, and know that we are grateful for you. Let's pray together as we're dismissed. Father, it has been a great night of celebrating you in the lives of our students. Father, may you get all the glory as these students continue to learn and to grow, and you continue to sanctify them in your truth. It's in the name of Jesus we pray tonight. And everyone said, amen, and good night.